All right, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This is lecture 4 in learning how to code with R. And today we're going to be going over graphing. And graphing, I think, as I mentioned in the first video, in visualization as a whole, is really the best part about using R. A lot of other coding softwares, like Python, for example, are equally as good, if not better, in some aspects at like numbers and just handling data. But when it comes to actually visualizing it, R, in my opinion at least, is superior. So we're going to be starting with just learning how to make a graph out of the information we have. So everyone here watching should have pretty much the same thing that I do. Maybe like your working directory code might look a little different depending on what your computer is like. But all this should be pretty similar, and it's just picking up where we left off, so everyone should be on the same page. This is the data set we created last time. It's about 3-pointers. We have how many 3-pointers you made, attempted, percentage, and total points. So let us get started. So the first thing we're going to be doing is graphing histograms. And if you're like me, before I got into R, I had no idea what a histogram was. I had no idea. But a histogram is basically a way of graphing frequency. And what that means is, as every graph or every graph that you should be dealing with for the most part is going to have an x-axis and a y-axis. For histograms, the y-axis is just the count or how many times something occurred. And the x-axis is whatever you want it to be. So when you're graphing these, all you have to really give R is what you want your x-axis to be and one other piece of information. So I'm just going to show you. We're going to get into how to do this. So the function is going to be called a ggplot. I think this is a part of tidyverse, but I might be wrong. If you have tidyverse installed, you should be good. You might not even need to have it yet, but that was part of our code here, so you're fine. So you do ggplot, then parentheses, and you tell it what data set to use. Because we have 2 data sets, it doesn't just know what to do. So we got to tell it. We're going to be using 3-pointers. Then after this, we're going to be putting a plus sign. Drop down. It'll do a little indent for you. Then you're going to say, okay, we're going to do a histogram. And the code for that is geom_histogram. Then for actually in the yellow, it kind of gives you an outline of how to graph these. So what we're going to be doing, you see that mapping? We're going to be doing the mapping. That's basically telling it what we want on our x-axis because it already knows what to put on the y-axis. And the bin width or bin you should see there, yes, that's there. That's the only other piece of information that we're going to be giving it. There's plenty of other things you could do, but that essentially tells it how you want to separate your data and how you want to group it between, like as you could see here, you have like a ton of people with 2.8, 2.7, but like over here, like you only have one person with 3.6. So should CJ McCollum really just be in his own like little category? Probably not. He should probably be grouped with Tyrese Maxey or all of the 3.5s. So that is why you do that. But for giving it the x-axis, you do mapping equals, then AES. Then you say, I want my x to equal, and we'll do 3-pointers. Oh, and make sure, because you're doing a number, do this little dash, 3 capital P, and there you go. Put a comma after, and then we're going to say, okay, let's split this into, I don't even know what a good number is. We'll do 25. We'll see how it looks. And the nice thing, the second you run it, it'll pop up right down here. So let me actually enlarge this a bit so we can look at it. All right. So you see over here, we have a bunch of people, or not really a bunch actually. We have like, this looks like I think each of these is like 1 high. It's just a bunch of people, 3 people, not a bunch. I don't know why I keep saying a bunch. 3 people by themselves, not grouped with anyone. And that's just because they're outliers. I think this is Damian Lillard. This is Steph. Let's see who that one is. That's Luca. And then everyone else is grouped together here. The issue, we have no idea where the separation is between these because we could probably calculate it, but all it did was just split these up into even bins of 25, and we don't have any control over how large those bins are. But we can. So this is graphing with the function bins, as you could see here. But now we're going to do the exact same thing. So literally just copy and paste this, drop it. I always go a few lines just so I could have things separated. Now we're going to switch bins to bin width. And you literally just switch the word. Win bits, as I was typing. I'm sorry. There we go. And this is going to let you control how wide each bin is. So let's go and let's make a decision. So let's say we want to have like all our 3s and 2.9s together. We can it can be anything. You shouldn't have it like be everything from like 2 to 3 together, because then you're not gonna, like, that's so many players and you're gonna have like 4 bins. So each bin, let's say, is gonna be 0.25. We'll say that. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna run it, and this is what we have now. So what this does, it might look pretty similar. I think we can flip back and forth. It does look pretty similar, but it's actually less bins, and each of them are more tightly grouped. You could see there's more height generally in the middle, and now we have at least 2 of these outliers grouped together, and people like Luca and I think it was like Tyrese Maxey are now more part of, like, they're still clearly higher, but you have more of them. So yeah, that's how you do histograms. And this is one of the more basic graphing things you could do. However, it is very useful, especially for some statistical things known as z-scoring. Z-scoring is basically, let's say you have like a perfect, like, bell curve is the type of graph. Like, it goes up here and down here, and you don't need to remember any of this. We'll go over it later. If you have a perfect bell curve, you can find how, basically how much percentage-wise better the people over on the edge of the bell curve are than the people in the middle. And histograms are a great way of visualizing that. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. And in the next one, we're going to keep going with graphing, and we are going to do scatter plots and correlation. So I will see you in the next one. Maybe you could click on down right now if the video's out. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.